Hi everybody, today I am filming a August reading wrap up. So like all the books I read in August, and then I'm also gonna put a couple of books on my TBR for September. I'm so sorry that it's like lopsided and that you can see the book I have in front of me, but it's just what we have to deal with for right now because I have to get this video out tomorrow. So yeah. Let's start with the books I read. So we left off in July, and I was reading The Heroes of Olympus. I was rereading them because I love them. But I was reading The Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan. And so the next book I read was The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. It's the third book in the Heroes of Olympus series, which is the second series of Percy Jackson's universe. I love this one, personally. It's so good. But it's not my favorite out of the series. But it's still really good. I'm so sorry if this is incoherent. Like, I feel drained. But, I don't remember what I rated the other ones, but I'm just gonna give this one a 4-star. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it since this is the third book. But basically, in the start of the series, it's basically following these 3 demigods, Jason, Leo, and Piper, and they're new to the series, and basically there's a prophecy of the 7 demigods. So in the second book in the series, you get to meet Hazel and Frank, and then you have Percy and Annabeth, and combined 7, and basically they're just supposed to save the world. I really did enjoy this book. He's just such a good author. Like, I will never get tired of Rick Riordan and Percy Jackson. So like I said, 4-star. Let's move on. You already know the premise of the Heroes of Olympus. But basically, this one is when they're finally all together. Because like I said, in the first and second, they're separated. But, so this one is when they're together, all 7 of them. And then the next book I read, The House of Hades. This one is amazing. I have no words for this. The cliffhanger from this book and then the continuation on this book. If I was like reading them, if I had been reading them when they were actually published, I was like 7, so I couldn't. But if I had been reading them when they were actually published and it was a year apart, I don't know, it would have been the worst thing in the world. Like, I would not have been able to handle it. It would have been so bad from this cliffhanger. But this is insane. This is a 4.5 star. This is so good. Like, so they're separated again. The demigods are not all together in this one. But oh my god. The stuff that happens in this one, the depth you get from their characters and the stuff you learn about them that you've already known Percy and Annabeth for, this is their 9th book that they're in, or 8th or 9th book. But you learn so much more about them that you didn't already know. So yeah, this one is a 4.5 stars. Oh my god, it's so sad. It's actually so sad. I cried during this one. Like, the first time I read it, I did not cry. But rereading it, every time I reread it, I cry. The next book I read is The Blood of Olympus, which is the last book in the Heroes of Olympus series. Again, this one is amazing. This one made me cry worse. And then when I read The Trials of Apollo, it made me cry even worse because of this specific book. But I would also give this one a 4.5 stars. Again, it's just a conclusion of a book, of a series. So it's like really good. It doesn't tie together everything because, you know. Rick killed me with this one. He literally, like, my favorite characters are so important in this book. They're so important in the whole thing, but I cannot fathom what happens in this book. I forgot about some of this stuff because I read them and then did not read them for like 2 years. Not that Percy Jackson, but these ones, because I didn't have the full set till like a few months ago. And so I forgot about some of the stuff. And rereading it and going through that pain again is just atrocious. But again, 4.5 stars. So yeah. So basically that completed the Heroes of Olympus. And they're each like 500 pages. So they did take me a little bit longer, especially with school starting and everything. So I didn't get through that many books this month, but that's okay because that's like 1,500 pages of good writing, which most books are like 300 pages. So like 300, 600, 900, 1,200, 1,500. That's like 5 books, you know? Anyways, the next book I read in August, 5-star read. I think it's my first 5-star read of the whole year, which sucks because it's the 8th month of the year. But at the same time, I don't think I was reading that much in a couple months of the year, but it's whatever. So the next book I read, The Language of Flowers. The cover is kind of really ugly, and my mom had me read this one. She wanted to see what I thought of it, and at first I was like, I don't really want to read this. Like, it looks like an old person book. But then I read the back, and I'll read it to you, but it's like, it interested me. Like, it was like, okay. So it says, acacia for secret love, daffodil for new beginnings, wisteria for welcome, and camellia for my destiny is in your hands. In Victorian times, the language of flowers was used to convey romantic expressions. But for Victoria Jones, it's been more useful in communicating mistrust and solitude. After a childhood spent in the foster care system, she's unable to get close to anybody, and her only connection to the world is through flowers and their meanings. Now 18 and emancipated from the system with nowhere to go, Victoria realizes she has a gift for helping others through the flowers she chooses for them. But an unexpected encounter with a mysterious stranger has her questioning what's been missing in her life. And when she's forced to confront a painful secret from her past, she must decide whether it's worth risking everything for a second chance at happiness. And so that interested me, and I was like kind of confused. I was like, oh, is it in the Victorian era? So I started reading it, and I was like, okay, maybe it'll be good if it's Victorian. I started reading it, get through chapter 1, not in the Victorian era. I don't know what was going through my head when I read the back, but the flower part is from the Victorian era. So I started reading it. It's like a girl in the foster system, and then it like switches back between past and present each chapter. But this book blew my mind. It was so good. Like, some of the stuff I was not expecting to happen in the book, and it happened. Like, this book is so good. It's so meaningful. It's like beautiful. I love how it was written. I love that it's just about like flowers. It's not like, that's not the plot. The plot isn't flowers, but like she's so good with flowers, and I love learning about like the Victorian era stuff and the flowers in this. I just love listening to her talk about flowers or like put bouquets together for people. It was just really interesting to read. And the ending was well deserved. It was a good ending. It wasn't like the best case scenario for like how everything went, but it wasn't the worst case scenario, and I did like how it ended because it kind of made me happy. I don't want to spoil anything, but like it was just a really good ending. So this is my first 5-star book of the year, I think. I can't remember. The last book I read in August, I guess it's kind of popular. It's like popular for a certain demographic, like niche. I don't know. I'm too tired for this. But I read A Secret History by Donna Tartt. Literally the first like month I had this, I did not pick it up. I was reading Percy Jackson. I did not pick it up. It sat in my backpack when I went back to school. I did not pick it up. And also, I kept reading it Donna Tratt, but it's Tartt. She wrote, like, The Goldfinch, that one Ansel Elgort movie, but she wrote the book for it. Also didn't know, when I picked this up, that the book was, like, 30 years old. Copyright in 1992. Like, I was like, oh, it's popular on Book Talk. Like, it came out 3 years ago. No, it came out 30 years ago. It's really long. It's not, like, page long. It's only, like, 560 pages. But don't read these. But like the words are small. They're like so small, and it's just, I was tired. I've read this at night like most of the time, and these tiny words killed me in the dark. But again, okay, it's so insane that I had 0 5-star reads, I think. I have to double check that. But I had 0 5-star reads, and then out of nowhere, August pulls through. This is another 5-star read. This is so good. This is mind-blowing. It's mind-boggling. Like, the writing, beautiful. The characters, crazy. The plot, also crazy. It's eclectic. It's like, it's insane. Like, who even wrote this? Like a psychopath? No, Donna Tartt wrote it. Like, the way the characters think, the unreliable narrator, the sibling duo, the weird group of 5 kids who don't really get along well with any other kids except their little circle and their teacher. In this New England town, college town, not even, because half of it is a college town, the other half hate like the college kids. So, and then obviously it's about a murder. Basically it's about these college kids and they murder one of their friends. And I'm not spoiling because the first sentence is literally, the snow in the mountains was melting and Bunny had been dead for several weeks before we came to understand the gravity of our situation. He'd been dead for 10 days before they found him, you know? So obviously you know that they murdered him. It's difficult to believe that Henry's modest plan could have worked so well despite these unforeseen events. So, like, I'm not spoiling. But basically they murder their friend. And you figure out why they murder him. It's not just like, let's murder someone. It's so interesting. The Greek, like, literature, mythology, like, plays, and their knowledge of classics. Donna Tartt's knowledge of classics for writing this, first of all. 10 out of 10. And then the way they act, like, I love this book. I love this book so much. I literally went and bought, like, clothes so I could match them today, and I finished it 2 days ago. I finished it like 9:30 p.m. on August 31st. It took me 5 days to read, which I guess took me shorter than some of these books because I was just so busy. But I was like trying to get through this book before August ended. It was like the morning of August 31st, I still had 160 pages to go. I was going through this book. Like, the first few days I was like, okay, read 100 pages a day, you're good. No, I had to get through like 160 pages and 130 pages and like 100 something pages for the last 3 days to get through this. Oh, I just flipped to 555. How cute. But the way this book ended, it's just like, what? Like, oh my god, I love this book. This book is just too good. It's too good for, like, to be on earth. I should really just stop saying it's too good because I'm not helping you read it. You should just go read it right now. Go buy it and read it. But also, since when did every good book become $18? Like, I was at Barnes & Noble today. Every book I wanted was $18. Why can't we just have $10 books again? What happened to that? Like, I need my $10 books. I don't have $18 to spend on one book. Like, I want like 3 or 4 books for $40, not 2 books for $40. You know? It's just so stupid. Like, this was $18. I can't believe that. So, that's all the books I read in August. So, thank you so much for watching today's video. It's literally tomorrow's video. What the heck, Gabby? Should have filmed this earlier, except I was waiting to finish The Secret History for you. Let me know if you want any, like, reading vlogs. I kind of want to do one of those reading for 24 hours challenge, but I have to wait till I have a break in school, so I don't, like, because I can't read 24 hours on, like, a Saturday. You know, it'll just mess me up on a random Saturday. I could read 12 hours on a random Saturday, but I don't know if that defeats the purpose of the challenge. Anyways, so thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Come back for next week's video. It should be next Sunday. That's usually when I post now with school. Yeah, goodbye.